In these words that we read in Jude, it describes three groups of people and also what our response or our attitude should be towards them. First of all, there are those who doubt, and it tells us, be merciful to those who doubt. The doubters aren't the people who do not believe. These are people who do believe, but for maybe some issues going on in their life, maybe they're just weak in their belief at that particular time. Christians that are going through a difficult time, and maybe their belief is shaken a little bit, and it's telling us there that we need to be merciful to those sorts of people. Think of Thomas in the scripture. Doubting Thomas is the title that is often given. He had doubts. He wasn't an unbeliever. He was a disciple, but he had doubts, and Jesus appeared to him. Jesus encouraged him. Jesus showed mercy to him. And that should be our response to those who doubt. We should be merciful. There's a difference between living in unbelief, deliberate, cynical unbelief, as opposed to a believer who is just going through a difficult time and is having certain issues. And we need to be merciful there. In Hebrews 3, it says they were not able to enter because of their unbelief. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about doubting. There is a big difference. Secondly, it tells us there, snatch others from the fire and save them. Now, of course, we can't save anyone, so it's not talking about a salvation there in that sense. Only God can save people. But what it's talking about, and remember the context of the book of Jude, it's talking about those people who are being led astray by false teaching. As we know, there's often a big difference between those at the head of these sort of movements and the people that just get drawn in. People that run these type of organisations that are deliberately leading people astray, they know what they're doing. They're intelligent people, they're clever people. Think of cults, some of these extreme cults. The people that head them up make a lot of money from them. They get a lot from setting up these organisations. But of course, in the process, there's lots of ordinary folks who get drawn in, who get sucked in, and they end up losing a lot of money. They end up losing a lot of emotional stability along the way, all that sort of stuff. It's talking there about those people. Not the leaders, they know exactly what they're doing, but the folks who for various reasons, innocence, naivety, gullibility, call it what you want, but they get drawn in to these type of setups. And it's saying that we should snatch them from the fire and save them. So that needs to be our approach to people that are drawn in to false teaching, where sometimes it can be very subtle. It can even be associated with church, where people think it's just a legitimate church, or the stuff going on that they're not really aware of. We need to be switched on to that. Snatch them. We can't save them, but we can draw them out of the clutches of these type of organisations into the truth of the true church and the real gospel. And then thirdly, to others, so there's a third group there, to others show mercy mixed with fear, hating even the clothing stained by corrupted flesh. Now this group of people that Jude is referring to there, they're people persisting in sin. So these are folks that know exactly what they're doing. They make no apologies for it. They know quite clearly that they're on a path, and they deliberately choose to be on that path. We need to show mercy, because there's always hope for people, no matter what path or road they have chosen to walk down. There's always hope for those people to turn their life around. But our approach, although it is in mercy, has to be mixed with fear, because there is a danger that if we get too close to sin, we can get sucked in. Sin is like a whirlpool. On the edges, it's perhaps not that dangerous looking. We think we can handle it. We think we can cope with it. But the more you get drawn in, then the faster the suction is. And before you know it, you're plunged beneath the waters of sin. So we need to be careful. And that's why it tells us to show mercy, but mixed with fear. So Jude 22 and 23, three groups of people there. Be merciful to those who doubt, snatch others from the fire and save them, and to others show mercy mixed with fear. Important, good principles there in the book of Jude that will help us to deal with different types of situations, different types of people as we go about our everyday lives and encounter all sorts of situations and circumstances.